Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It is Tuesday, and yes, it is time to talk some baseball. We actually have baseball on live right now. First inning between the Dodgers and the Cubs. First game of a doubleheader. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz, along with Kyle Purviance, and we're here to break down the card. And when you said, good yesterday, McDonald's, Wendy's, Chipotle, wherever you went yesterday, that meal was absolutely paid for. Good night on the house here. Starting with you, Jason. How was your night last night? Because it was good in Oakland for me, wrapping up a great day.
Yeah, it went 2-0 on the official plays for me personally. It did take till a little over midnight Eastern time, so did stay up late for those games, but I'll cash both of them, and it's a great way to start off the Monday. Or Monday, and now we're on Tuesday.
I had a great time last night. And also looking at Kyle, Oakland didn't take too long there. He even took the 4.5 at plus money and a final score of 5-4. Music to everybody's ears in Oakland.
It was absolutely money in the bank. We got the over in the game. We got both team totals. We got the Arenado home run prop. We got the Cardinals totals. Yesterday was a good day, so let's hope we can continue this going. I did stub my toe awfully bad last night. It hurts like there's nothing worse than your pinky toe just hurting like a son of a bitch. Impossible to play golf. I don't know. And there we go. Time to move on.
I just wanted to see the reaction there when you started the story and I hit that button.
So jokes here that we're going to have throughout the year. That is damn funny. But I'm looking forward to another great day today. And thank you to everyone in the chat box for joining us.
Awesome. Let's get started today. Once again, guys, thank you so much. Each and every day, more and more subscribers here to the channel. 85,600 people have hit that subscribe button. Thank you, guys, for coming in here and talking Major League Baseball with us. We do have a live game, as we said, so let's hit it a little bit here. Dodgers and Cubs. Keep in mind also, it is the first game of a doubleheader, still in the bottom of the first inning. Man on second, one out for the Chicago Cubs. Looking at a live number here with the Cubs with a man on base in a short spring here, plus 106. Over under in this one, 4.5. So I'm going to start with you here, Jason, with a quick look from this baseball game, whether or not Kershaw, Hendricks, how did you look pregame, and maybe an in-game wager that you might be looking at later if something comes available.
Yeah, I was thinking about under in this game. I do think Hendricks will be better as the season progresses. We just saw him get through that first inning, and obviously Kershaw has been terrific, and that shouldn't change today. So obviously in a 7-inning game, it's hard to take an under. No matter what. So that's what I looked at. Right now it looks like the Cubs do have a guy on first or second. So if obviously the Cubs are able to score, you could look at the Dodgers maybe as a plus money opportunity. But outside that, there's so many games to look at, and you're better off looking at something else.
And it looks like I'm showing an update here from FanDuel, 1-0 Chicago Cubs. So it looks like a base hit here by Anthony Rizzo. I'm watching on the satellite, so I'm behind just a little bit. And yes, goes right down the line. So they have an early run in this one. We'll see what those numbers repost at. But Chicago Cubs 1-0 over the Dodgers as we sit currently here. We got a deep card today. So, guys, let's get after it, not waste any more time. Did change up the card because we initially were going to preview the Cubs and the Dodgers game. But obviously with the rain out turned into a doubleheader. No need to waste our time. So let's get cooking here. Houston and the New York Yankees in the Bronx. This rotation is 9-15, 9-16, Greinke and Herman. If we look at the opening number at Pinnacle, right around a 110, we're now sitting at 120. Some of the New Jersey outlets, FanDuel, also sitting at 120 here. Decent lineup coming in for the Houston Astros. Is this a spot where we take a cheap dog price on the Astros, Jason? Or is this, hey, Yankees never really in this number at home. I'll take a shot on the Yanks in the Bronx today. What are you looking at here, Jason, in this game?
You see, I don't see much value in picking either side. I do think it's more of a pick 'em. Greinke obviously has his moments, and there's plenty of power, especially coming from the right side, that can definitely do damage against Greinke as well. Domingo has not looked great. His best start was his last start. Can he, do better from that start and let that carry over potentially? I think the best bet here would be the over 9 in this game. I think both teams can definitely score some runs, and that's what I would look at in this one.
No, not bad, not bad. I am agreeing with you in this spot, but I did get a little bit of a laugh. It's a pros move by Jason, if you notice what he did. He went with Domingo and didn't want to mess with the Herman as the last name or something. That's a pros pro right there. Kyle, looking at this game in the Bronx tonight, Houston Astros and the New York Yankees. Runs, no runs, cheap dog. What are we looking at here?
First of all, I'm so grateful that you said Herman, because I was just about to say German and just absolutely destroy that. I mean, this freaking close to doing it. So I agree with Jason. This is a 50-50 game. This is the first. They didn't even play in the 2020 season, which I did not realize. How in the hell did that even happen? Two teams in the same league didn't even play each other, so they haven't played since that 2019 ALCS. There's a lot of bad blood here. Yankees fans, I know it's only 20% capacity. They're going to be fired up for this. When I look, I'm looking at a first five minus 0.5 for the Yankees at plus 130, plus 0.5 minus 150. Now, when I do the first fives, you can take the money line, which obviously lets you push if it's a tie, so that's why it's a little bit better value. But I like taking the minus 0.5. I like the Yankees here. First five minus 0.5 plus 130. Just more advantages for their bats. Greinke, I think Greinke is the better pitcher, but I'll take the Yankees here. First five, it's a pick 'em, so I'll take the plus money in the first five minus 0.5 at plus 130.
The question is, can we trust the Yankees? Because when I look at this lineup coming in, on paper, it's a very good hitting lineup. But I get nervous when I see Ronald Odor is your cleanup hitter with an ISO of .081 and a weighted on base average of .203. It just seems like there's a lot more outs in this lineup right now than power shots. Are we waiting for the Yankees to catch up with the previous year's numbers? Yes, we are, but just not yet. And also, when you take a look at this cheap number here, minus 120, you don't see that all that often. So maybe a cheap shot here with the Astros is on deck. Let's keep moving here and get to Jason's squad. 909, 910, New York Mets, St. Louis Cardinals. DeGrom on the mound versus Oviedo. Look at this, 6.5 out here as a total across the board. If we're looking at a favorite here, open up at 188 offshore. We're now up to about minus 200 across the board. Jason, DeGrom on the mound. Always a good start out of him, but the question isn't about the good start from DeGrom. The question is, do the Mets hit? Fired 2 hitting coaches, even though they got 5 runs last night. Wasn't even enough to win. Your looks here tonight, Jason, on the Mets.
Yeah, so DeGrom should, do what he does. And the Mets should also do what they do, not score. But, no, to be honest, I do think the Mets, they do have some advantages, as I'm sure Kyle will point out, against Oviedo. There's potential there for the Mets to score some runs. Obviously, their lineup is really good. It just hasn't produced the way I expected. Getting a new hitting coach, maybe that sparks a little fire under the Mets. So, yeah, I look at the Mets minus 0.5 in the first 5. How many times has, ESPN even talked about it on Sunday night to Pete Alonso after the game. Like, they keep reminding everyone, like, the Mets don't hit when DeGrom's on the mound. The Mets have to be annoyed by that. And maybe they score in the first 5 innings here. So Mets minus 0.5 in the first 5, or the Mets over 3.5 in the team total. I think the Mets probably figure it out now. New hitting coaches, DeGrom on the mound, tired of hearing about it all, not hitting with DeGrom. I think this is where the Mets kind of break out here.
And taking a look at this game, Kyle, Lindor is approaching a 150 batting average. Oh. It is absolutely astounding how this guy with so much talent is literally an auto out that is clogging your lineup in the number 2 hole. I know he makes a lot of money. You don't want to disrespect him this early by saying, hey, look, we're not going to sit you down, but we're going to put you in the 7 or 8 hole. They're not going to do that with the amount of money he makes. How are we looking tonight in this game? Because I know you had some success last night with the Cardinals.
Yeah, and now it's flipped over, and now I like the Mets. I will say this. The last start that DeGrom had against St. Louis did not go well. He had like 3 fantasy points. It was an absolute disaster. I remember playing him that game, and it was very painful. But you look at this Mets lineup today against Oviedo. We've got advantages of 84, 17, 4, 55, 17, 2, and 30. So it should be Mets all day. The only way you're getting value with DeGrom on the mound is, like Jason said, the first 5 for the Mets. You're getting minus 0.5 at minus 145. The money line's at 255. So, of course, look, if I'm taking a team money line in the first 5, I expect them to be up. So why the hell wouldn't I take the better odds and take minus 0.5? And, not worry about the tie. If the tie happens, I'll take my loss and I'll move on. So I'll take the Mets first 5 here, minus 0.5, minus 145. Like that Mets lineup in DFS today as well. Obviously not touching those Cardinals bats.
Yeah, it should be. It's hard to go against DeGrom, and I know if you're going against him, it's just a pure contrarian look by just using the ads. Well, the Mets don't hit. With each and every entity of a game is different, and I'm not just going to take the opposite team because the Mets don't hit with DeGrom. Meanwhile, DeGrom goes 8 innings, gives up 1 earned run. I don't think that's a great way to manufacture a win. But once he gets out of the game, maybe you can measure up against the bullpen. We'll see what happens. But I'm still in that waiting pattern here with the New York Mets, trying to get them at some decent numbers because that team should be hitting. They're just not hitting yet. Maybe shaking up the batting coaches, as Jason pointed out, will make some difference here. Let's go out to the West Coast tonight. And there's a pitcher on the mound here. I can't quite figure out because I expect him to get lit up every time he's on the mound. 925, 926, Toronto and Oakland. That's Kay, the lefty, on the mound versus Cole Irvin. And how about this? Irvin opens up in a push, basically minus 110 both sides. He's now minus 120. Back in New Jersey here at FanDuel, I'm looking at like 128, 130 in that range, over under across the board at 9, some 8.5s still floating out here. Jason, I'll start with you first. We're looking at runs again out in Oakland tonight. or do these lineups quiet down? Because both of them look decent. The pitchers do have some decent numbers to counterbalance those lineups, though.
Yeah, it's really weird. We have two lefties. We have Kay, Irvin, both lefties. They both struggle more against lefties and righties, even dating back to last year. It's so weird because you look down the Blue Jays lineup, it's all righties, not a single lefty. And then you look down that Oakland lineup, you've got mainly righties except for, it looks like Olsen and Kemp. So, yeah, this is going to be really weird. You'd expect these offenses to do damage, but then you also see the splits. They just don't match up. So, for me, it's a stay away game. There should be runs in this game, but also the splits just don't add up.
No, they certainly don't. We're watching live right here, this Cubs game, and I'm getting a kick out of Anthony Rizzo having no idea what to do on the base path because he should have scored twice already, but yet he's still standing on third base. But as I see the update here, the Cubs 4-0 over the Dodgers. So if you had I know somebody was in here, maybe was able, had the no runs first inning. That's a 4 spot, and you are well on your way here to covering that number for the game itself. But it wasn't a home run. Looks like bases loaded double off of the Ivy. So the inning's still underway. They'll see if they can get that total here in the first inning alone and by the Cubs alone. So good stuff here to talk about on the base pass. But obviously, before we get to the lightning round here, best bets on the Major League Baseball board. Jason, we'll start with you first. Let's kick it off, man.
Yeah, so we are on 3 plays today. Looking at the Braves in the first 5 at -130 on the money line. It's Oscar Noah versus Joe Ross. And Ross, he's had 3 great starts and 1 really, really bad start. But I think that things are going to start to get to him eventually. If you look at his numbers, and I'm going to bring that up right here. You look at his numbers so far, he does have a, let's go to this season. He does have a 4.71 xFIP. Strikeout rate really kind of low at 21%. Walks 7.8%. Then you have Acuna, Freeman, Albies, even Adrianza. Riley has solid weighted OBA numbers. Contreras also. Righties weighted OBA of 357 against Ross, 332 lefties, and then also the ISO pretty high on both sides as well. So I think that all catches up to him, and I think the Braves offense should do some damage. And it's been really terrific for the most part this season. High strikeouts looked really good, and that Nationals lineup really does struggle versus righties. They're so much better versus lefties. So really only Turner and Harrison are the 2 guys that you need to watch in that lineup. So I like the Braves in the first 5 at -130. We'll also go down to the Indians versus the Royals. It's going to be Sam Hentges. I don't know if I even said that correctly, but he's on the Indians. And Mike Minor for the Royals. Another lefty going here for the Indians. And then Minor, obviously another lefty. But I'm over 4.5 team total for the Royals this time. And they are the home team, but it's at +100. So I added an extra run, took that +100 for the Royals there. Just their offense, it's just a bunch of power righties. And Hentges, he's the lefty making his first start, weighted OBA, 464 against righties this season, and an ISO of 450 this season against righties. And so I do like the Royals to get a lot of hits and a lot of power from them. They've looked really good offensively from the last couple of weeks. Lastly, Angels, looking at a pickup, I'm looking at -110, but I saw some got at +100. The Angels in the first 5, it's going to be Alex Cobb versus Shane McClanahan. The Rays, another lefty pitcher going for the Rays. And the Angels at home, they're actually hitting over 300 against lefties at home. They obviously have a ton of righties in that lineup from top to bottom. It's not really Trout that does a lot of damage. It's more like Upton, Pujols, and even Rendon as well. But obviously, if McClanahan doesn't pitch the full 5 innings, you get the relief pitching, and Trout and others in that lineup can definitely do damage as well. So again, Angels -110 in the first 5, and the other bets were the Royals over 5.5, the team total at +100, and then Braves first 5 at -130. So those are the 3 plays.
Yeah, I like some of those looks there because I'm on the same page with a lot of those there. And I did skip Kyle by accident on Oakland, but good thing for us, he does have a play on the Oakland Athletics Toronto Blue Jays game. So go ahead, Kyle, take it away. Best bets and bankers for you today.
Yeah, let's go to that A's game because I actually think Cole Irvin is better. Some of those numbers, I was kind of looking into this more because the splits don't make much sense because you got this lefty against all these good right-handed bats for Oakland. It's just because K, pretty limited sample size. This guy isn't an innings eater. So some of his numbers, it's when they calculate his numbers in, it throws them off a little bit, but I think the A's get it done, and I'm getting a plus number in the first 5 minus 0.5 at plus 115. I'll take a guy like Irvin's had 3 straight really solid starts, a lineup that's alive against a really unproven guy in K. I'll take the A's first 5 minus 0.5 at plus 115. We're looking at advantages up and down that board. Really, when you break it down, it won't show the numbers here because of K, but when you look at these righties versus lefties, advantage Canha, Lowry, Chapman, Murphy, all of the, actually Murphy just a little tiny bit less, about the same versus lefties and righties. Laureano. So I like the A's first 5 plus minus 0.5 at plus 115. I think that makes a lot of sense. Speaking of the Braves, I love this Atlanta lineup today. I love them in DFS as well. I've got a little home run prop on Ronald Acuna tonight off of Ross. So for those of you looking for hopefully another home run prop, I love the Braves. We're looking at advantages of 44, 18, 69, 65, 35, and 50. So their team total over 4.5 minus 120 makes a ton of sense to me. We talked about the Mets. I love them first 5 with DeGrom. And if you're looking for, kind of sort of a pick 'em here first 5, I think Alcantara on the mound for the Marlins here. I like him quite a bit. Not that worried about old Smith here for Arizona. You're worried if they can score runs. Of course, it's the Miami Marlins, but I think they can get it done in the first 5, minus 0.5 at minus 110 as well.
All right, taking a look. I don't have an official best bet on the card today, but if it's any indicator, look, we're always going to put plays in bets in play. Yesterday, 4-1 overall with the 5 plays I gave out, so you should have plenty of McDonald's money in the house. Tonight, I'm going to go back to the West Coast tonight because I think this makes sense. San Diego didn't hit last night, but wasn't under pressure to hit, only getting 2 runs. I think they're able to get up to Keller tonight, and also I'm going to take this game at no juice, plus 100, 4.5 for the San Diego Padres. If we take a look at Keller, xFIP on the season, 5.33. How about the left-handed batters this year? 403 weighted on base average, a 233 ISO. And how about right-handed batters? 411 weighted on base average with a .306 ISO. They should be able to get to him playing the anticipated lineup for the Padres: Grisham, Tatis, Machado, Hosmer, Cronenworth, Myers, Profar, and Caratini. A nice mix of lefty and righties at the plate tonight. I think the Padres will be able to do some damage here and get to 5 runs. Let's get to the odds board lightning round and hit all these games on the card today. First game of the doubleheader quickly here. Aaron Sanchez going up against German Marquez. Minus 123 favorite here for Colorado. Rainy conditions here, so I'll give this game to you, Jason. Any thoughts? Because I know it's tough with doubleheaders, so I'm actually going to wrap around on this one. First game and also second game thoughts with Wood and Castellani. Try to handle this, Jason, if you have any looks on one of this.
Yes, so again, doubleheaders are not my thing.
Yeah.
I do think potentially Colorado win that first game. I think the Giants win the second game, if that has any help. But not touching these games. Obviously, Alex Wood's been really good so far this season. And Castellani was really bad last season. Don't think that changes. And I think it's Sanchez versus Marquez in that first game, which, look, both of these pitchers have been okay. Obviously, Marquez has struggled versus the Giants previously. The numbers this year would maybe say he might not struggle nearly as much. But, again, it's they're a tough one. So staying away from the doubleheaders should be a fun series, but I do think it goes 1-1.
There you go. So we'll move down the list here, and we'll go to Arizona, Miami. I know you're just talking about this game here, Kyle Smith and Alcantara. Minus 140 for Miami at home. Over under 7.5. That's about the look you're going to get when you're playing down in South Florida in that big ballpark.
Yeah, exactly. And I do like the Marlins here. Just Alcantara, up, down, left, right, BA, select star. Our boy, he's just a better pitcher, and the numbers just don't line up for me for Riley Smith. I mean, 2 starts ago, the guy didn't even get out of the first inning. So give me Miami here. Give me the first 5 minus 0.5 and give me the full time. I don't like a lot of bats for Miami per se. I don't think there's a ton of runs here. This game kind of feels, unless Miami goes off on Riley here, like it could be an under that 7.5. You could very easily see like a 4-1, 4-2 type score here. I like Miami quite a bit. I'll take him in the first 5.
All right, 929, 930, Chicago White Sox and the Cincinnati Reds here, Jason. Cease is on the mound versus Hoffman. Whenever we take a look at the Cincinnati Reds, we always like to take a look at the batting situation because versus right-handed pitching, with Cease has a nice xFIP of 3.92 and has good weighted on-base averages to both lefties and righties. But, boy, I look at those ISO power numbers and weighted on-base average for the Reds. It's hard to turn away from.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Obviously, I think the over is the play, and Reds over 3.5 on the team total. Looks like the great play. Like you said, there's a lot of power in that lineup against righties for the Reds. So, Hoffman hasn't been a great pitcher, but I do think that he has more success against the White Sox. The White Sox are still without Jimenez, now without Luis Robert. So yeah, it's the Reds for me, over 3.5 team total, and Reds minus 105 would be good looks there.
Kyle, quick thoughts here. 903, 904, Atlanta and Washington. Noah on the mound versus Ross. I know you had a look in this game, and I had a circled play for the Atlanta team total as well. I think they can hit tonight.
Yeah, I like the lineup. I love the lineup tonight, and I love the team total. Oh, and here's another plus money spot. If you're willing to take the little bit of risk here, minus 0.5 in the first 5, plus 105 for Atlanta. Look, I'm not a big believer in Ross. You'll probably see him batting 8th like the manager loves to do, throw this guy hitting 8th, and there's a bunch of smaller minds out there that think that that's the way to go and want to preach about how it is. They're just morons. It's just stupid. It's a dumb thing to do. I don't care what the numbers say. I like the Braves first 5, minus 0.5, plus 105, and I love that lineup in DFS, and I love that team total over 4.5. Makes a ton of sense for me tonight.
There you go. Keep it moving here down the list. City of Philadelphia. I put out a quick video here earlier. Made some money last night with the Brewers team total, which somehow popped up at a 2 plus 114 in the 7th inning. So 9 outs against the Phillies bullpen. They damn near won the game outright. But I'm going to see another look tonight. You see a monster line opening here, Jason. Minus 188 crashes down to 144 at Pinnacle. Offshore opened up at 205. New Jersey opened up at 205 at FanDuel. That now also sitting much lower at 158. And I agree with it. Aaron Nola's going to have to pitch 7 1/3. 7 2/3, 8 full innings if I think the Philadelphia Phillies are going to pick up a win tonight. But my look in this game is to wait and see if I can get an advantageous number on the live team total for the Brewers tonight. Tough spot for the Phillies with no bullpen, but you can counteract that with a starter as good as Aaron Nola.
Yeah, you guys remember I took Nola in the day game that he pitched in last, and of course lost that in the 5th inning in that bet during the live show. But I'd go back to Nola. I'm a big Nola fan. Phillies minus 0.5 in the first 5 seems like a great play there. I do think the Phillies have enough offense to get to their team total at 3.5, but also know that Nola does allow a solid amount of power against lefties. And then you go to that Brewers lineup. It's Wong, Vogelbach, Yelich, Shaw, Bradley. They're all lefties. And obviously you get that bullpen after Nola if he can't go 9 innings for the Phillies. So both sides probably look good for the over. I do think the Phillies probably end up winning the first 5, but I know there are a couple people in the chat that have gave us some trends, and they've shown us that the Phillies have struggled in the first 5. Recently, of course, they did end up winning yesterday in the first 5, but just as a bigger picture, that's what's been going on. So, yeah, again, over and Phillies minus 0.5 in the first 5 would be the place.
Detroit and Boston here, Kyle. 917, 918. Heavy favorite here for the Boston Red Sox at home at Fenway. Minus 180 total across the board. 8.5 with juice. 9s with light juice. Fulmer and Pivetta. Pivetta's got terrible numbers xFIP-wise. But the issue is not who's pitching on the mound for Boston. Detroit is god-awful at the plate.
Exactly. And their bullpen is terrible, and their pitching's terrible. Man. So this is Boston. It's all Boston all day. The only way you're getting any real value is taking them in the first 5. Minus 0.5 at minus 120. I love the Boston bats today. Just doing a quick recap of that. I love Xander. JD Martinez has real home run potential tonight as well. Bogart's 3 of 6 lifetime has homered off of Fulmer. So it's Red Sox or bust here. They profile very, very, very well against Detroit today. And just to touch on Milwaukee, Philly, I think that could be a sneaky nerfy spot. There is some risk there because of those lefties at the top of Milwaukee's order. You're absolutely right. But it could be a nice nerfy spot. It's probably the one that stands out the most. And to Donnie's point, that Phillies bullpen has been so bad. So watching it live, I recommend you guys follow Donnie on Twitter. He does some great stuff at night where they're doing these live totals. You should really watch it because there is money, because there's money to be made waiting for Nola to get the hell out of the way and taking these bad bullpens. Let's say Boston struggles against Fulmer for some reason. They have 2 runs after 5-6 innings. That Detroit bullpen's the worst in majors. So then you get a 2.5 total. You live bet that at 3. Boom, you're going to score that run. So it is a really effective way to do it, and especially teams like the Phillies and Detroit who have these bad bullpens. It's a really nice way to maximize your earnings by live betting it.
No, certainly. And sometimes we like to segue into different things. Last year in football season, I destroyed team totals before the game. I can't wait for NFL season because the algorithms that these books use are just relegated and don't play into actual game situations. What hitter's up? Who's on second base? Is it speed? Is it not speed? Who's coming up in the next inning when you're already trying to measure that out? There's more money to be made in game, way more money than to be made pre-game, because you can get a feel for the game and how it plays out. There's free money out there until the books figure out a correct algorithm, which they probably can't with pitch to pitch to pitch. There's a lot of money to be had. Texas, Minnesota here. I'm going to get to you, Jason. 919, 920. Gibson versus Hap. Texas, grimy last night. Stayed with us. Got the over 3.5 plus 100 to the finish line. Quick thoughts on this game here, Jason.
Yeah, I'm a Kyle Gibson believer. Rangers plus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 115. Kyle got me on to Gibson, and I'm not coming off. So Rangers plus 0.5, first 5, minus 115. I think it could be a tie, or Rangers could potentially have the lead in the first 5 innings against Hap.
Yep.
There you go. Keep it short and sweet in that one, Kyle. We'll get back to you going with a couple games here. Well, I'm actually going to give you a double time here. Dodgers, okay. Cubs, second half of the doubleheader, which it looks like the Cubs probably going to get away with a victory. Still early in the game, but again, early, not so early in a 9-inning game. It's only going 7 innings. Bauer versus Thompson, and then we'll double down on that Cleveland and Kansas City. Go ahead with your thoughts on those 2 games quickly.
Sure. That second Dodgers game, we've got an uncredentialed righty going against that Dodgers lineup, and it looks like they might be taking a hard L in this first one. So I like the Dodgers in that one. I'm not sure what the numbers are. I'm sure they're steamed to outrageous numbers. So maybe take a first 5 there. Again, it's only a 7-inning game, so I'm not going to mess with the totals. But I do like the Dodgers there, especially against a righty like Thompson. We always like the Dodgers against righties, a little more dicey against lefties. In terms of the Royals, I'm glad you asked me, because the Kansas City Royals profile beautifully today. And I know Jason likes them as well. I like their team total over 4.5. It's at plus money. When you look at this lineup, here's the advantages today against Hentges, not Pat Hentgen. Wasn't that a pitcher in the 90s?
Yes,
Hentgen.
Absolutely.
This is Hentges. He was from Milwaukee, if I remember correctly, Pat Hentgen. 45%, 13%, 76, 7, 64, 70, and 73. The only hitter who doesn't have an advantage here is, and he actually hits lefties a little bit better than righties, is Nicky Lopez in that 9-hole, if he indeed is in the lineup. Love the Royals. Love them first 5 minus 0.5. Love their team total. Love them full-time. It should be the Royals today, and I have a little home run prop on my boy Salvador Perez. I think he can go yard tonight as well.
We hit the Pittsburgh-San Diego game a couple different ways in this one. You know our thoughts on those. So I'm going to go right to this 923, 924 here for you, Jason. Tampa Bay and the Angels tonight. McClanahan, a lefty, a hard-throwing lefty, won't be in the game too long. Is this a good spot for the Angels? Tampa Bay, what are we looking at? Because this line, right around a minus 120, so short favorite here at home for the Angels.
Yeah, I like the Angels in the first 5. That is an official play for me. Alex Cobb, he struggled the last 2 games that he's pitched, hasn't gotten through 3 innings, but I think that changes here. He struggled more against righties so far this season, and there's going to be a lot of lefties in the lineup for the Rays. So I think Cobb gets through. I think he pitches well. I think gets back on track. And I like the Angels against lefties at home. They're hitting over 300. So I like the Angels in the first 5 here.
10-10 tonight, 927, 928, Baltimore and Seattle here, Kyle. Lopez versus Dunn. Slight favorite here to Seattle, minus 120 to minus 125, depending on where you're shopping. Some 8s out there as a total. Quick thoughts with Lopez and Dunn on the mound with the Orioles and Seattle.
It's a tough one. I don't like a lot about this game. I will say the advantages lie with Seattle when you just look at the numbers here. They've been the better team, so Seattle would be the route I would go there. Trammell has some profiles really, really nicely tonight here off of Lopez. If you're looking for a cheap bat in DFS, you can get him for $3,300 on DraftKings. And, of course, Mitch Haniger, look, he's just been the man for me. I know he hits lefties better than righties, but he has been absolutely on fire. I love me some Mitch Haniger tonight, so I'll take Seattle.
Seager and Haniger. Let's wrap it up here with the lightning round and clear the bases now. We're going to go over a quick recap here of our best bets and bankers. Start with you first, Jason. Go ahead. Give us those winners again.
So I am on the Braves first 5 at minus 130 on the money line. I'm on the Royals over 4.5 team total at plus 100. Also the Angels minus 110 in the first 5 innings. So those are my 3 best bets for today.
There you go. Go ahead, Kyle. What do we got, boss?
I'm trying to remember. Okay, I like the A's minus 0.5 in the first 5 at plus money. I think that plus money just makes a whole lot of sense. I love that Braves team total over 4.5 as well, and a couple home run guys. Let's see, we talked about Salvador Perez, and I know there was one more that I really liked for a home run tonight. Who did I talk about? I'm sorry, I'm stalling here, but I'm trying to find the guy. Oh, Salvador Perez, I know that. And there was one more home run prop that I really liked. Someone will remember it in the chat box. But those are my bets. The Braves team total, A's first 5 minus 0.5.
There you go. And I'm going to take a little bit of a bite out of the
Acuna,
San Diego
that's it.
Padres. There you go, Cunha. I'm going to, which is why we have the guy on the screen, or the pregame thumbnail,
Exactly.
to say the least. San Diego team total 4.5 plus 100. I'm going to take the over that for a little McDonald's money. Hopefully tomorrow we get a little bit clearer skies across Major League Baseball, because I am waiting to get back with the play of the day and absolutely drill it and hammer it. But if the money is good right now, we are all chipping in with winners each and every way possible. And we thank you guys for tuning in to the Major League Baseball show right here at sportsbook.com. In and out in 30 minutes, hit every single game. And also, the show doesn't end, and I keep saying this. I'm always on Twitter. Jason's always on Twitter. Kyle's always on Twitter. If you're watching the games live, hey, Donnie, what do you think about a 1.5 live team total? What do you think about a 3.5? What do you think about the games coming up? We are always here to converse and go back and forth. That's not a job for us. This is what we like to do. It's fun. We're watching these games. Ask questions. We'll see if we can get back to you on those requirements. But we close down another show here on Tuesday, back at it on Wednesday, same time, 2:30. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz, and also with Kyle Purviance. We are sportsbookreview.com, and this was your Major League Baseball show for Tuesday. Good luck on those tickets.